Bonjour, hello everyone. I'm Nata, host of the Nata PR School podcast. You're a successful entrepreneur or marketing manager and you're about to launch a new product or service, or you've been selling your goods for quite some time, but you want to learn how to increase your visibility, get known, and reach more clients? At Nata PR, we deal with real clients every day and we'll teach you simple, fun, and honest PR solutions. You'll learn easy steps to combine PR to social media right now. Keep listening and let's get started. Bonjour, hello, and welcome to this 41st episode of the Nata PR School podcast. And I want to talk about how I started creating content. So the subject today is talking to my computer to reinvent PR. So 2 years ago, I was wondering how I could really create some content and if I could use the web better to help our clients, because if you've listened to our episode number 22, the 22nd episode of this podcast, you know now that our number one value at the agencies is serving at the highest level. And to serve at the highest level, obviously, especially nowadays, in this era, we knew about the web, but we needed to really experience it to be able to help our clients at the best level and better. So I decided to do that, to start talking to my computer. And so long before we created our new service, Nata PR School, I was questioning how I could create some content and if I would be able to talk about a different PR subject every week. So I decided to use Facebook because of this amazing facility that we have that is called Facebook Live. You know that this is accessible to all of us. It's amazing. It's like doing live TV, really, in your own living room, in your own office, without knowing who's listening, obviously, at the other end, when you start doing that. But this is what I decided to do to see if I could every week find a new subject and talk about it for at least 10 minutes. And so little by little, week after week, I was able to create so much content that I really had all I needed and the confidence to create Nata PR School. And now you probably know that the Nata PR School is really a training. Well, first of all, it's a podcast where we give you tons of free tips. And we have free webinars. We have boot camps for very little money. You can subscribe to one of our boot camp to find out about, let's say, how we work with influencers. And we have also our amazing training. It's called a cohort. So I do that a few times a year, not all the time, because as you can imagine, I have to take care of the agency. So I'm a full-time owner of a PR agency. And so the cohort is really an amazing program. Well, you'll have the chance to work directly with me or a top professional working with the agency. So for the coming years, it's going to be me teaching. But all this to say that I can answer just about any questions, really help you. We build your tools together. We go in depth to help you create a PR campaign, how you can also use and maximize your visibility online. So we do all that stuff. It's fun, I promise. And this great adventure really began in 2017. So 2 years ago, I started to talk to my computer alone, but without having this idea of using Facebook Live. My curiosity, I'm really a curious person and I love to learn. And this is what really brings me on unusual paths. I'm going on these roads where few people go. And I was on Netflix looking at different documentaries, and I was really surprised by this title, which is I Am Not Your Guru. It's an amazing documentary. If you haven't watched it, it's Joe Berlinger's, who realized this podcast, I'm Not Your Guru, with Tony Robbins. And this podcast really features Tony in action in one of his very famous program called A Date with Destiny. But if you're not familiar with coaching, you don't believe in coaching, you don't know Tony Robbins, I suggest if you decide to watch this documentary, you're not going to lose your time, I promise. But hang on, probably the first 10 minutes, because if you're like me, it might get on your nerves and you might become annoyed because it really presents Tony as a superstar, a rock star almost. But please hang on up until the first intervention. There's a young man who's going to stand up in front of everybody, and Tony is going to use a technique called the NLP. It's the neuro linguistic programming. Oh my God, you will be amazed, because Tony is not just good, he's a master. He's really a master of the NLP, this amazing technique, and he uses it along the way in the documentary. So you'll see, to transform people's life. It's super powerful and very impressive. So after this documentary on Netflix, I started looking for some podcasts. I love listening to podcasts, and was looking for Tony's podcast. And obviously, the Apple platform generously showed me several other podcasts, among which the Life Coach School with Brooke Castillo. I was really intrigued by this podcast, the Life Coach School, and I decided to listen to some episode. And I'm not going to talk in depth about everything I've discovered, but since then, oh my God, just through this podcast, I was really impressed by how this podcast alone was helping me transform my life. And Brooke is extremely generous. She gives a lot of free content on her podcast. So now you understand why I'm trying to replicate what she does, but in a different field, which is the PR field with this podcast. But with this podcast alone, the Life Coach School with Brooke Castillo, first 4 main things in my life. The first one is I lost weight when, even my doctor couldn't help me. As you probably know, men out there, hang on. So women's hormones can be really tricky. And I was in this part of my life where I couldn't figure out how to lose weight. So long story. So thanks to this podcast, I found some amazing ways, and it really worked. I lost a lot of weight. Number 2, I found the man of my life, really. And the third point, but not the least, I really was able to grow my business by 40%. That's the traditional business, not online, and with real life clients by 40%. So 3 main things. I lost weight, I found the man of my life, and I was able to grow my business by 40%. So wow, right? So this coaching school really amazes me every week, and it really helped me progress in my life, as you can see. And some of the followers of this coaching, some of the coach that really went through this training, one of them is Stacy Beeman, that I really love. She has a podcast, Make Money as a Life Coach. Really impresses me like no end. She's amazing. And there are 4 things that I find that these people, these coaches from that school have in common. So 4 points that I want to share with you. Number 1, they work on their mind like athletes. They really work in depth, tirelessly on their mental side. So, we talk about these athletes. We hear that all the time, how the mental state is so important for them. So they do this kind of the same thing. So there's a whole technique behind it. So that's number 1. And they use a model, CTFAR. So if you want to know more about the model, obviously you can listen to the Life Coach School with Brooke. So I'm not going to go in depth talking about the model here, but it's a great tool. Number 2, they're not afraid to fail or to be outside of their comfort zone. And they really have a technique where they do that in a very specific way. Number 3, they set goals, impossible goals. And I did it too. Like, to me, the Nata PR School was something impossible, and I was able to create it with this technique. Number 4, which is probably what is the most important through this coaching school. They know that an emotion is nothing more than a vibration in your body, and it's not fatal. You're not going to die because you feel shame. And they are able to work so much on their mind and their emotion. They embrace bad emotions. They're able to process bad emotions and not being stopped by those emotions, fear, or all those fun emotions that I'm sure you know. So 4 main things that they share. First of all, they work on their mind, their healthy brain. Number 2, they're not afraid to fail. Number 3, they set impossible goals. Number 4, they know emotions won't kill them. So they know that an emotion is just a vibration. It's a beautiful school and a huge success as well. And Brooke really explains her own journey, how she started a podcast, created her online program. If you don't know her, it's really interesting just to see the company she's built so far. And here's how far I've taken everything from this school, because I decided after 2 years to also become a certified coach. So I'm a LCS, a Life Coach School certified life coach. I'm also a professional public relations coach now, and I created Nata PR, my agency, 20 years ago. But now that I'm a coach, through my coaching, I created the Nata PR School. And, after these 2 years of creating the PR Rendezvous, that's also true. Thanks to the Life Coach School, I created the PR Rendezvous. And I started talking to my computer, being live on Facebook. Thank you, Facebook. This is what really helped me create so much content. And the Nata PR School is now there to help you grow your business, help solopreneur companies who launch product or services get known, and all this free of charge. And I really wanted to take the opportunity in this podcast to say it loud and clear that the Nata PR School and this podcast is where I want to reinvent PR while highlighting the human relations that we use, our public relations, because relations is the most important word in what we do. So reinventing PR is what I intend to do and what I started to do almost a year ago now. So this new Wild West, what I call the far web on internet, after all, is created by humans for humans. So today it gives us a tremendous universal connection to which I humbly bring my own humanity, my own contribution by reinventing PR. As you know, maybe you can find everything on the web, good or bad. And at the Nata PR agency, Nata PR School, we've chosen to showcase our ability to do good and multiply our opportunities so that everyone can use this fabulous tool that is PR. And we never forget that the real world continues to exist as well. So by chatting, talking to my computer for 2 years, I've discovered the value of using the internet wisely. And if you're like me, you want to know more, I can really help you go faster, sooner, further, sooner, faster. Get in touch with me, get a free consultation, and in all honesty, I will tell you if I can help you. I've talked to some of you every week, so I love discovering people from all over the world. This is what the web does. You never know where your podcast ends up and who listens to it. You can be from anywhere in the world, and I just love that so much. And I'm there to help you, so get in touch with us. If you want to know more about our free programs or our training, get on our list on our website, natapr.com, and you'll get information on when we have either webinar, bootcamp, or training. Hopefully, you've learned a few things this week, and you will be joining me in helping me reinvent PR. I hope you'll be there next week. À la semaine prochaine. Hey, you want to learn more about how to implement PR strategies? Head on to natapr.com and get on our list. You will also receive the Nata PR model on how to create a successful PR campaign. If you want to become a client, just send us an email to nata@natapr.com. Talk to you next week. À la semaine prochaine.